Imagine this. You come to this country as a teenager. You work hard for almost 20 years. You study, you go through all the steps, you do all the right things, all so that one day you can say that you were an American citizen. Then the president goes on television and says repeatedly that if you happen to disagree with him, that you're a threat, a racist, and an extremist. Well, our next guest has walked that exact path. And as a new citizen of the United States, his powerful message to President Joe Biden about that has now been viewed by nearly 4 million people. Here's a glimpse.
Mr. President, I am also a conservative Republican, or what you have recently labeled a MAGA Republican. Over the last few days, you have looked into the camera and called me and millions of other people like me extremists. You have told me and my children that we don't matter to you because of our beliefs. Your spokespeople and the media have labeled us dangerous, full of hate, and a threat to democracy. You went as far as to suggest that we would not stand a chance against the government's F-15s in defending our country from tyranny. Your party leaders have taken your cue and called us terrorists, and all this without taking any time to acknowledge our humanity, listen to our concerns, or seek to understand our fears.
Incredible stuff. And Alma Ohene-Opare joins us now. Alma, welcome. And wow, you were on a tear, but you did it there with grace. And you were very calm. It was very powerful, but it's impacted a lot of people. Your message there. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit more about your story.
All right. So I, just like you said in the promo, I came to America at 19 in 2003 to Los Angeles, and I have gone through every step of that immigration process. I know when I came here, my dream was to become an American citizen, and I woke up every day praying for that opportunity. I knew that a lot of things needed to fall into place to give me that opportunity. And so I waited patiently through prayer, and then also just, raising a family, paying my taxes, doing exactly what I was supposed to do to get that opportunity. And I'm glad to say that the wait was worth it. And I wouldn't have changed anything except maybe to make it a little shorter. But the wait was worth it, and I'm glad today to be able to call myself American.
I want to ask you about that long wait that you had. But first, you said what a lot of people are feeling about the divisive rhetoric of the far left. After everything that you've done, it really hit you to the core to hear that from Biden. Tell us about the catalyst for picking up the phone and making that message.
So the catalyst was that I saw an increasing kind of rhetoric that seemed to get worse and worse. And I kept saying, who are they actually describing here? Some of the descriptions he gave was that these people hate the Constitution. They hate the rule of law. They think the only way to succeed is for other people to fail. They hate law enforcement. And as I was thinking about that, I said, who exactly is he talking about? And then he conflated what he was saying with regular disagreements, political disagreements on various things like being pro-life and so on. And so I just felt like I needed to say something. I needed that message to get to the president directly. So yeah. I chose to address him directly because I felt like he needed to hear from someone who felt very targeted by that message.
4 million people have watched this, and I'm not a huge fan of social media, but you proved that, yes, from time to time, this can actually be a good thing. Now, Alma, you're the American dream. You did it the right way. But as you mentioned, it took you nearly 2 decades to become a citizen. Is the system broken on both ends? We have rampant illegal immigration, millions of people flooding across the border, becoming kind of this permanent sort of underclass. But do you think, on the other end, for people like you who want to do it the right way, that the system requires reform and there should be a much shorter period of time to try to achieve that goal?
Yes, I think the system is broken, especially on the legal side as well. I know a lot of times the things that we see are the illegal immigrants coming across, and that gets all the news attention. But a lot of millions of us who are illegal immigrants are waiting our turn, and usually we don't get as much attention from the media. We don't get as much support. And politicians don't like to talk about that process a lot. And so for me, I know that there needs to be reform in the process. And my journey took about 18 years. It's not the same for everybody. Some are shorter depending on the path that they took. However, I think once it has been established that, your goal is to become an American and you have contributed in significant ways to this country, that the process needs to be streamlined a little bit and made a little shorter.
Real quick, because I'm running out of time, unfortunately. But this is a lot of notoriety that you've generated here. Some folks are saying, I wonder if this guy will ever run for office. You ever think about that?
People have asked that question over and over again. And my answer is this. I think running for office will be great. However, the question is that the way to be the most effective I can be? And my goal is, and I've said this a lot on social media, my goal is to become a cheerleader for America. I know this is a time where you hear a lot of derogatory things spoken about America. And here, my goal is to rekindle that spirit of patriotism so people can wake up in the morning and feel like they're proud to be American.
Yeah. And
the question is, can I do that as a political official? Because I feel like automatically, if you declare as a political official, suddenly half the country hates you. And so, but I want to be able to bridge the gap a little bit and advance the conversation. Well, so maybe in the future,
Alma, I think you're doing just fine. Right where you are, right what you're doing. Alma Ohene-Opare, thank you so much for your powerful message. A lot of people in this country need to be reminded what this country is really all about, and you exemplify that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.